Hey everyone, it's Aladdin here with the Chase DA Sports Handicapping YouTube channel. Apologies for the long hiatus. I've just been working a lot, been on the grind, but I'm back here with the UFC 280 video, and I'll just jump right into it with my picks. Won't uh, won't do anything much, but I will have some promo bet for points bet, and also a promo code for Bovada. So check the description for those. But anyways, jumping right into the main event, Charles Oliveira, the champ, versus Islam Makhachev, or Makhachev, whatever. I don't know how he's the favorite, to be honest, and that's just sort of blowing my mind. I've seen him as high as minus 185 in some spots, so you could get Oliveira at even a better price than this. But I really think that Oliveira will win this fight, and within the first two rounds, honestly. His last few fights, he just started off red hot. I mean, yeah, he gets dropped basically in every fight, but he just pulls guard and gets right back up in 20 seconds because no one will engage him down there. He's too good. But Makachev, who's this guy fought? Bum ass Bobby Green and washed up Dan Hooker? I mean, his best win is probably Armin Sarukian. But other than that, who's the guy fought? And both Bobby Green and Dan Hooker were on 10 days' notice, so they weren't even ready for him. It's just a joke that this guy is the favorite because he has Khabib in his corner. Like, that's it? And he's like fighting in his home country. I've seen so many guys get knocked down in their hometown. I mean, this is the freest underdog you will ever see in UFC. Get this in now before it goes any lower. Plus 140 on Bovada, right there. Moving on. I'm actually predicting Charles second round rear naked choke. Co-main event. Killishaw versus Actorman. I'm actually gonna go with T.J. Dillashaw in this fight, mainly because one, I think the judges really like him. In his last fight, I actually thought he lost against Sanhagen, and he was given the nod. But I think he probably would have won it. I mean, you could have gave it to either guy, honestly. But I just think Dillashaw, he's going for the title again. It'll be the third time he has it if he won it. Only person to hold it three times. And I think Sterling, his stand-up is okay, to be honest. It's mediocre at best. But his ground game is his bread and butter, especially if he gets that body lock on you. It's almost game over. That Jan fight really proved it. He locked Jan down for like 2 solid rounds with that body triangle. So Dillashaw is definitely going to look to avoid that. But I think it's probably going to go to decision, to be honest. But I think either one of these guys can get a finish, to be honest. I'm going to predict Dillashaw by decision. And I think picking either side, this is a hard fight to cap, to be honest, because either guy, they have a lot of attributes, and they don't have too many weaknesses, I would say. If Dillashaw is on that steroids, though, definitely might have to look to him on the weigh-in. If he's looking all roided up, might have to bet him. Moving on, though. This is probably the only favorite I'm confident on the whole card, at least the main card, and this is Petr Yan against Sean O'Malley. He opened up as a over a minus 400 favorite, and now you could probably get him at minus 250 on some books. He's minus 275 on Bovada. But if you think about how both these guys fight, they're both majority stand-up, but Sean O'Malley is more of like a freestyle, more willy-nilly. He'll throw the spinning stuff, the high kicks, jump in and out of range, more dancey on the feet. While Jan is much more disciplined. He keeps a way higher guard, Muay Thai stance, and doesn't almost barely gets hit without at least giving a hit. So I'm going to predict Jan to win by decision, but I think he could definitely finish the fight. And people are saying, oh, Sean O'Malley, he can knock him out. He can knock him out. Of course, anyone could get knocked out. But I think you sort of missed the boat on this one. I think you probably could have got him at like plus 330 probably. But but I think his only way to win is by knockout. He has no ground game or submission game, so he won't submit Jan. And decision, he'd have to fight like the best fight of his life to like outpace this guy, because Jan is one of the few guys who just keeps getting better and better as the rounds go on. That Sandhagen fight was a perfect example. So look for Jan probably by decision. I saw it around even odds on here. Probably could get it maybe plus 120 some other places. But I think he could definitely win by like a late round stoppage, late second round, third round. Jan by TKO. O'Malley will just be too outpaced. Mentally, I don't think he's that tough either. Like in the Cheeto fight, he got hurt and then just like instantly quit. I know he was like his perennial nerve got hit, and you can't really walk when that kid gets compromised. But he just quit. I mean, the guy just, I don't know. I just really don't see Jan losing 3 fights in a row, which was the first Aljo fight, which he was winning until he screwed himself. Lost the second fight, and then this one. I really don't see him losing 3 in a row. And the odds keep dropping on him. So probably by fight time, he might even be a 2-1 favorite. So, or maybe even look to get him live, because he's sort of a slow starter. But I think he's a lock. I don't think he loses at all. And in fact, he's never lost a fight by finish, and he's only been knocked down 1 time, and he instantly got right back up. And was it by Maya? I know it wasn't by Sterling, but anyways, it was a few years ago. He ain't getting knocked out. He ain't even losing. Next fight, Gamrot versus Dariush. I think this is a stay away fight, mainly because Dariush is coming off of a broken leg injury, and he hasn't fought since like March 2021. And it was against Tony Ferguson, who is absolutely washed right now. And he didn't even look that impressive against Tony. Like, I think he had like a submission attempt, and that was it. Gamrot looked pretty solid. I wouldn't say solid, but it was just a really good back and forth fight against Sarukian. I thought Sarukian personally won the fight, but I think that Gamrot's stock, even if he won or lost the fight, wouldn't have dropped because it was such a good fight, and it was really back and forth. But I do think that he did lose, that he lost that fight. But I think I'm gonna side with Gamrot here, but I don't think paying minus 200 is a good idea, mainly because Dariush, he is pretty good. I would be surprised if he comes out like this, lays an egg, but he's injured though. Like, how well is this guy gonna fight? He's rusty too. He hasn't fought in a long time. So I'm gonna go with Gamrot probably by decision, but this is just a stay away fight. Nothing too much to it. Let's move on. I'm not gonna cover the women's fight. Remember, in women's MMA, just bet 1 unit on every underdog, and you will come out profitable. I swear to God. It's an insane strategy that I learned a few months ago. But, yeah, it's just a joke, women's MMA. Next fight. Bilal, forget the name Muhammad. It's actually remember the name, but I think he's just like a joke. And Sean Brady, who is 15-0, I believe. And I think Bilal could definitely spoil the party here. He has a clinch wrestling game. It's very boring. It's a very boring style to watch, but it works. And he just sort of controls you up against the fence. His striking's horrible. It's almost non-existent, really. Like, when he was standing with Leon Edwards, he was actually getting pieced up. And then, like, he got eye poked, so he got saved, basically. And then he just took Vicente Luque down and didn't do much with it. I mean, held him down there, landed a few punches. Didn't do much, though. Just held him, laid on top of him. Brady, I think, can win this one, though. He's a pretty solid fighter all around. Doesn't really have a glaring weakness in my mind, except maybe his lack of experience against top-level guys. And I think this is Muhammad's last chance at going for a title run. I think he's like 36 years old now. So I think if he loses to an up-and-coming prospect, he's probably not going to get anywhere near what his name is right now. So I'm just going to probably predict this fight good parlay piece. I don't know what it is, but probably this fight to go the decision, as Sean Brady is 15-0, and so obviously he's never lost. And then Bilal Muhammad, very boring, very controlled wrestling game. Doesn't look for too many finishes. So probably look for a fight to go the distance on this one. Next fight, we got Kai Braille. His name is The Natural, his nickname, versus Mahmoud Muradov. I believe Muradov lost to GM3 or had a close fight with him. But this Braille guy, it feels like the UFC's propping him up. Pretty solid game all around, jiu-jitsu based, good striking too. He sort of looks like the smarter version of Paulo Costa. He wears glasses. He has sort of a similar face. But very good game. I've seen his last two fights. Solid overall. Definitely wouldn't look to fade this guy. I think at minus 210, I think the odds are close, mainly because he's fighting one of these Dagestani Russian guys. Of course, they'll have the crowd behind him. I don't really think MMA and crowd has anything to do with like any factor. I think it actually hinders the guys more than helps them. So I'm gonna go with Kai Barrile by third round rear naked choke. And these fights up here, I'm not gonna cover too much, but I will say ultimate lock is Mokaev. We were on him in our last video, I believe. I think it was the UFC London video. Easily won within like 50 seconds. He'll do it again here. He'll smoke this guy. He opened up at like minus 450, minus 1100 now. So people love Mokaev. He's just awesome. The guy's sick. He's like 20 years old too, which makes it even a crazier story. But other than that, I think the only other fight I would look to maybe bet is maybe this Volkan Oezdemir versus Nikita Krylov. And I'd probably pick Krylov mainly because Oezdemir, I think he was longtime training partners with Alexander Gustafsson. And Krylov easily beat Gustafsson in their last fight. So if they fight similarly, he'll probably beat him, but at the same time, he'll probably change something up knowing that, hey, he just beat my teammate, so I got to change something up. So probably wouldn't pay minus 170, but I think Krylov does get it done. He's going to be probably bigger than Oezdemir. And overall, he does have a pretty good game overall. Very wrestling control dominant. Has heavy hands too. So overall, I think this is a pretty dog-heavy card. I like Oliveira by finish, and I sent this play in my betting group chat. If you want to join, I'll link it down in the description. We got about 25 guys in it. Great chat. Anyone could join. But I think this is a very dog-heavy card, and I'm just going to predict Oliveira, second round finish. And I think the good play that I sent in there to get back on track was this fight, Oliveira, Makhachev, under 4.5 rounds, and Petr Yan money line. And it was minus 115, basically even odds. Pretty good odds, I would say, for just one guy to win and basically one fight to finish, which is a 5-round fight too. So overall, that's my favorite pick. And my favorite dog pick is obviously Oliveira. Still don't get how he's the underdog. So overall, we'll check back in on Saturday, and hope everyone has a good night. Bye.